Hi everyone, I'm Bronwen and I'm doing these videos for Off the Record. We're a youth mental health service in Bristol, and if you want to find out more about what we're doing and some of the stuff that we're putting out online, then just check out all of our kind of social media links. There's loads of really cool stuff that you can get involved in, some of which is just freely accessible like this, and some of which you can sign up for and kind of join in a more closed group. So in this series of videos, I have been looking at the different aspects, the different traits that resilient people tend to have, and also the fact that we can learn how to be better at all these things. So today, what I'm going to be talking about is something called empathy. Now, I would hazard a guess that most people know what empathy is. We talk about it a lot in schools, we talk about it a lot in life just generally, but it is that feeling of being able to put ourselves in other people's shoes and being able to express kind of emotional awareness and support for other people going through experiences that might be very different to our own. Now, it sounds simple enough, but it is actually quite hard to do sometimes, especially if we only hang around with people who are like us, who are into the same things as us, maybe in the same situation as us. So at the moment, it's really, really obvious that actually, although we are all in the same situation of having to deal with the coronavirus and the implications of that, we're not all having the same experience. So some of us might be key workers and might be still going out to work every single day. Some of us might be that we've lost our jobs. Some of us might have left school, left university. Some schools might be dealing with all of this in one way. Some schools might be dealing with it in a completely different way. Some of us have gardens. Some of us do not. So we can see that actually, even in an experience like this, where the whole world is going through the same stress, the same challenge, how we're experiencing it and how we're dealing with it is going to be different depending on our situation. And if we have empathy as a person, then it enables us to actually be able to think about how life is a bit different for others, but also how we can look after other people and kind of build those connections. And the one thing that we know about resilient people is that they have really good, strong social connections. So a lot of the very early research into resilience looked at how children, even if they're in a really difficult situation, sometimes did very well and better than expected because they had a brilliant kind of network of people in their lives, not necessarily their families, it could be all sorts of different people, but that they had those strong connections. And one of the ways that we build strong connections is by being empathetic. I mean, if you think about it, like your mates are not going to want to probably be friends with you or hang out as much with you if you're not very sympathetic to their situation. So empathy is really important for building those social connections. And social connections, sorry, I've got a frog in my throat today. Social connections are really important for our resilience. And I think all of us can agree that we can really see that playing out at the moment. So the stronger our social connections and the more that we're able to empathise with each other and support each other through the situation, the better it is for ourselves and also for our friends and family's emotional well-being. And it's really hard because we can't actually physically go and be with those people, which is what we would do if we were behaving in a kind of normal way, reacting to stress and challenge. I would, for sure, in this kind of situation, normally go straight to my parents, have a big hug with them, talk it all over, and we'd kind of have empathy for each other and also boost that kind of relationship. Obviously, I can't do that at the moment, and none of us can do that at the moment. We have to stay where we are. But by using all the different means that are available to us and working out what suits us and what suits our friends and family, we can keep those connections going. I'm not going to say much more about it actually, because I think empathy is probably one of the most simple ones. What I would encourage you to do if you want to build a bit more empathy for yourself and for other people is have a read about people in different situations who might be experiencing this whole setup quite differently to you. Examine what your biases are. So do you just assume that everyone has a garden? Maybe have a think about whether, there are people living in very different circumstances. So look at what your biases are. Are you sitting in a place of a bit of privilege and actually maybe you could examine that? Or are you someone that's struggling in lots of different ways and so it is a bit more difficult and you could show a bit of empathy for yourself as well? So yeah, really push those boundaries, challenge yourself a little bit, have a read about how other people are coping, what other people are doing, how other people are experiencing this time, and build our empathy in that way. And the other great thing about having empathy is that it normally encourages us to go and do something good or nice for other people. And when we do that kind of stuff, it generally makes us feel good about ourselves. So don't worry about being kind of selfish or any of those things. The point is that when we do connect with each other, it's going to feel good because that is what we are made to do. That's what we're built to do. And it does help us with our resilience and our self-esteem. That is all I'm going to say on the subject this week. Short and sweet for once. I hope you have a good week. Please tell me if you do anything that you think helps to build your empathy. The other thing that I would say about empathy and boosting it is that it does help you with all of your other kind of traits. I mean, you can't have inflexible thinking patterns if you're able to empathise with other people. You're going to automatically start seeing the world in a much more rounded, whole kind of way. So yeah, good luck with that. Have a play. Let us know how you get on. And I will be back next week for the final trait of resilience, which is all about reaching out. But we'll talk more about that next time. Speak soon. Bye.